And what's up, guys? It is me, Lurishito, and I'm back for another video after a really long break. I don't know why I took a break, but I did. And now I'm gonna do something completely different. Don't worry, further along there's gonna be some more Anthony's Army, and this is Anthony. But I want to start a new little thing, which is rebuilding Manchester United, my favorite team. Here we have the making of my coach. We have Freaky McCheese, and this is what he looks like. The settings, since this is going to be strictly Man United, we're not going to get sacked no matter what. The difficulty level, I'm going to play on Legendary, but with sliders. I'm not going to be playing the youth tournaments, but that's what they are. And just so the the gameplay isn't that boring, I'm going to be using my custom sliders, which I've done myself, which are like this. The sprint speed and acceleration for both the user and the CPU stay the same. The shot error for the user, I dropped to 35, and for the CPU, 40. Pass error, exact same, 35 and 40. The speed goes to 40 and 45. And injuries, I put the injury frequency at 70 for both, but I do lower down the severity to 32 for both. Because normally when you play FIFA and you're in a manager career, no big injuries happen, but there's also no injuries that are like, oh, 1 week long, a few days. They can't play the next game and that's it. No. So what this will do is that every once in a while, there's going to be an injury or two or three or four, but they're not going to be crazy. But every once in a while, somebody will have a season-ending injury. Goalkeeper ability, I put this at 62 for the user and at 70 for the CPU. Marking, 55 for the user, 57 for the CPU. Run frequency, 52 for both. Line height I leave the same, line width I leave the same. And first touch control error for me, the user, I'll put this at 40 and keep it exactly the same for the CPU, making this somewhat realistic so it is a competitive game considering this is Manchester United. I need these to be in games that I'm not necessarily winning every time, especially with the current state of the club. With the CPU, I put it on tactical. The development rate, I put youth on fast just because Man United's a club that has a lot of history of youth. So I feel that it's more realistic that you do have youth players that that start out at like 50s and 60s and eventually make a break into the first team. Over here, for transfer negotiations, I'm having on realistic and approaches on strict. I do this because just like real life, you can't really know and like be 100% sure that a team's gonna let you approach them for a player. Like for example, if you go to Real Madrid right now and you say, "Oh, I'll give you 200 million for Mbappe," they're not even gonna let you talk about it. That's why what strict does sometimes if the player's that important, you can't even offer. Realistic is just if you offer like a crappy offer for one of the best players, Like, let's say I offer 60 million for Mbappe instead of like 150. They'll outright say no, and we're not going to negotiate anymore. For scouting speed, I'm putting it on fast for star players and normal for general, just because, the most well-known players, everybody knows them, they have all the spotlight. And over here, I will put it on pounds, because that is the currency of the United Kingdom. No international job offers, so yeah, these are the settings I'm going to be running. If you guys want to follow along and do your own rebuild, this is personally, I feel like for my skill level, gives me the most competition and the most realism in EAFC. Let's go on to the team review. Starting here in the squad hub, if I was a manager, I would be one of the most strict managers there are. I hate how Man United are playing right now. Absolutely. There's a few players I do like. Onana, I like Bayandir. I think Luke Shaw being injured the whole time, we can't deal with it. He, bang, transfer listed. I don't care. He is not one of the legends, but he's a servant for the club. That's like really important. Diogo Dalot. I'm very neutral on him. I do not like Tyrell Malacia like that. And these two, I feel like are going to be the left backs for the future. Patrick Dorgu and Harry Amas. I went and watched these two, Harry Amas in the preseason. I think he's Luke Shaw without the injury bug. I love him. A lot of people hate Harry Maguire. Personally, recently what I've seen, he's been amazing. Although he is 31, he's not your prototypical FIFA center back. He has like, here, let's see. He has 37 pace. I'm doing this as if it was real life. I think Harry Maguire stays. Victor Lindelof, I haven't seen enough of him. Like, it's just, it's a very in-between type player. Then we have Matthijs de Ligt and Lisandro Martinez. I love, I love Lisandro Martinez. It's so unfortunate when he plays so good and gets ahead of steam and he starts playing amazing and he gets injured. It's very unfortunate. And for realism purposes, since the new live update hasn't occurred, I will be benching Lisandro Martinez for the rest of the Premier League season. Lenny Yoro, I absolutely love the signing. I know it was 50, 60 million pounds, but I think he's absolutely amazing. I think genuinely, you give him 2, 3, 4 years, he'll be one of the best center backs in the world, purely because of his ability to win one-on-ones and to progress the ball sometimes. And one of my actual favorite players for some reason is Mazraoui. I love Mazraoui. It's just that no matter what position he plays, I remember he played attacking midfielder for one game. He still gave it his all, which is not what you see from every Man United player nowadays. I will be considering Mazraoui as my first choice right back instead of Dalot. Casemiro, I could care less if he's one of the best midfielders ever. Get out. Ugarte, mm, I do really like Toby Collier. In real life, he's good. I think this rating is a disgrace. He's actually very good. I'd say he's better than Casemiro and Ugarte when healthy. Yeah. And then moving on, Kobe Mainoo. This guy is special. I genuinely think if he was playing at a Barcelona or Real Madrid or a big club, because that's what it's come to for Man United, he would be valued at like 200 million pounds. I think skill level wise, he is the same level as like a Bellingham was when he was 19. Like we're talking Bellingham at Dortmund. I think Kobe Mainoo is better than that. Obviously, Jude Bellingham's taken a step further and transcended that and becoming one of the best players in the world. I feel like he could do that if everything gets solved at this club. Eriksen, he's old. I love Mason Mount. But same thing is injuries. Big problem. I think because he hasn't proven himself, and he has more to prove. I think he stays, so I'm keeping him. Bruno Fernandes is Man United. He's the only reason this team is even bearable to watch. I'm filming this today on the 22nd of February, right after the Everton Man United game. We're down 2-0 at the half. This man scores a free kick, puts a great ball in, we score another goal. And when he's playing a deeper lying midfield position, he's one of the best midfielders in the world, in my opinion, but sadly he plays on a team like Man United. So he gets undermined by the results when he's the only reason the results are not atrocious. Rashford, I grew up watching Rashford, one of my favorite players. I have a jersey, but I feel like man, at this point, why is he even playing on Man United if he's not going to play? He's not going to try his best. He has to go. When this loan ends, I'm transfer listing him. Garnacho, even though being a Ronaldo fanboy, I genuinely think when watching him, he's one of the most brightest spots in Man United, along with this man, Amad Diallo. So good. He is genuinely, man, I can't even explain. These are players that don't belong in a caliber of team as Man United, but they are here. Also, for injury purposes, I'm going to be benching Amad for the rest of the season. Anthony, I have a lot of history with this guy. I absolutely love him. I don't know. People might criticize that sometimes, but genuinely, when I watched him play at Ajax, which I did, and when he first came to United, I was so excited and I wanted to see him succeed. Because what I knew of him is he was the Brazilian Robin. And I loved watching Ian Robin. Going on Ethan Wheatley, I also, when I saw him play, there was flashes. Then moving on to these two guys right here. I think Joshua Zirkzee will be an amazing false nine or attacking midfielder. And I like Højlund. I just don't see it. Man United, right now we need a striker that every chance they get, boom, goal, boom, goal. Even if it's a crappy chance, it needs to be on target. You can't elongate it. Just take a shot, and more likely than not, it'll go on goal. Is a starting team. Currently, since we do not have a right wing for the rest of the season, I'm going to be playing Xerxes there, but our formation's a 4-2-1-3. And the back four, as you see, is Dorgu, De Ligt, Diora, Mazraoui with Onana on goal. And I chose Ugarte, Mainu, and then we have Bruno Fernandes in a more advanced position. Højlund as our top man. We have Garnacho on the left, Xerxes on the right for now, but I assure that spot will be filled by Amad Diallo when he's healthy. So, here in our tactics, I did choose wing play because I do like when the ball is out on the wings and boom, delivers in, crosses, crosses, crosses. I love attacking football. Attacking football is one of the most exciting things to watch when there's back and forth, back and forth. Even if we concede a lot of goals, I want to score more. And with the roles here, we have a sweeper keeper, two ball-playing defenders, two attacking wingbacks. So, as you with ball, it's going to be like this. Bang, we got Xerxes right now, but it's going to be Amad there. We got him as a winger. We got Mazraoui also as an attacking wingback. We have Bruno Fernandes in the center of everything. I would put him as a roaming playmaker, but I want to keep him focused on just the attack. I don't want him picking up the ball from the sides, getting it in. We have Ugarte as a holding midfielder, ball winner. So, what he'll do is, because we're going to be a very high pressing team, he's just going to make sure anything in behind, boom, smashes and grabs it, puts it back in there. And while playing out of defense, I'm going to run sort of like a box style, as Man City do, where they use the goalkeeper as a second center back while one defender pushes up into midfield. And over here in the attack, we have Garnacho as an inside forward because I feel like it's kind of difficult for Garnacho. I don't know what type of winger he's going to be. If he's going to be a Ronaldo, just cutting in, taking shots. Or he's also really good at going around and cutting the ball back to a Højlund. I'll see, I might change this later, but we also have Dorgu as an attacking wingback. And the most important one is Højlund. I want the ball to just be bombarded into the box. Somebody needs to win headers. I'm not sure if Højlund's the guy for this. I might look other places, but for now it's Rasmus Højlund. For the upcoming window in the summer, says it's 125 million. It is very unlikely that it's going to be over 30. But since I'm not trying to bore anybody, I'll be using 40 million on top of the sales we have. So disregard this, I'll dictate the budget every year. Current transfer lookouts for the summer window are, as you see, it's mainly striker, winger, and a bit of midfield in Frimpong, because he's rumored to have a release clause in the summer of around 50 million pounds. Something like that. But not anyone to replace Amad Diallo or Garnacho, just somebody to, you know, compete, who's great. And also, when I pay for these players, let's say Gyökeres, he's only like, in the game, he lets me get away with 40. No, I'm gonna pay like 70, 80, what it'll be in real life. Yeah, so I want a striker. Gyökeres and Osimhen. These two, everybody wants them. I feel like if one of them comes to Man United, it'll change the whole culture into being like a kiddie team where you have to always shun and scrape away at goals to fluid and more goal scoring. And I have Ademola Lookman here, even though he's not the type of striker I want, I feel like he can play the wing. And he is 100% or 99% leaving Atalanta in the summer, which has been stated by Fabrizio. So it's likely that he could come to a big club like Man United. Then over here I have Ernest Nuama. Again, all these Lyon guys, because Lyon is in, I think they got a point deduction or something. So they're going to be cheaper. But Nuama, Cherki, Bakayoko, Fofana, Mika Goc, Svedberg, and Ansu Fati, all these guys are just winger backups for I need one for each side because currently I have one winger on the squad. I want to get one to two more just because Anthony comes back, he's gonna stay because I love Anthony. Then Rashford's gonna go. We need a replacement for that. Ideally, someone like Malik Fofana or Mika Goc, who's younger, has good potential. They can make little appearances and play good. And then on the right, I'd really like someone like Brian Mbeumo, just as a backup, even though Brian Mbeumo's great. And then Jeremy Frimpong. But what I also might do is I also might revert to the 5-2-3 that Ruben Amorim is doing right now, which I think would free up a lot of space for Mbeumo to be a cam, and I think that would work also. That's why I also have Jeremy Frimpong, because I'm going to be rotating between the two to see what works the best. Youth, what I'm going to be doing is I'm only allowing myself one youth scout. I'm going to be using one 5-star scout, and I'm going to have a limit on only 10 youth academy players that are in the academy. I'm pretty sure you can have more around there, but I'm putting myself a limit on 10 because it goes to like unrealism where you get a ton and a ton of outstanding youth players where they just go into the first team like wow, you pop up players. And I'm only allowing myself 3 youth visits per year. 3 like of, I think, 6 months I'm allowing. Of maximum 6 months. Yep. So the first one, I'm going to be keeping it in the UK, England, for 6 months. I'm going to be looking for a striker, a winger, a DM, and a center back. So we can choose the 3 roles. I need a target forward, an inside forward. Actually, I'll put it on holding and deep lying, and that's all I'll do. This game was already played in real life, but I'm still going to go through it. The real life result was a pretty sure 2-1 win by Harry Maguire. I'm going to be playing on 5 minutes, 5-minute halves, and I'm just going to be skimming through showing you guys the big moments, yeah? And let's see those. I'm going to call it short here. I think that's Menu. To the back post. Oh, Euro can bounce it in. Oh, but it gets cleared. Oh, El Canus has a break. It's him and Daka. Daka goes. Oh, I get... Oh, a super close chance by Daka. Oh, that's a beautiful run by Bruno Fernandes. Oh, that's a great shot by Højlund too, gosh. I'm very pleased with how it's playing. It kind of feels a bit too easy. I might up the difficulty later, but what I really like is that scoring like that doesn't come too easy. Like, the shots won't be 100%. We're just keeping this game open. Look at that, that's a first time shot. Bang, Manu gets it right in there, and boom with the left. Top bins. I just got bitch. Gosh. Only problem is we can be really susceptible on counters just like that. On the counter attack, Daka bangs a header in to make it 1-1. It open. Oh, and he goes right by De Ligt. It's up to Euro now. Bang! What a block. The diving save from Euro, and he clears it. Oh, and they're on the counter. They're on the counter after I just gave it away like that. Oh, Taka's in the middle. It's Taka versus Euro. And he finds another guy. El Canus makes it 2-1. Over the top. That's Højlund. It's a 1-on-1. Oh, and that's a great save by Iverson right before the end of the first half. Tiny tactical switch. I'm going to make Mazraoui more of a fullback. Just to have more defense. And I'm going to make it much more defensive. Just so we don't get caught on counters like that. But apart from that, I'm very happy with the offensive play of this team. Things out to Dorgu on the left. Dorgu puts a cross in for Højlund. Højlund, and he scores a beautiful header. That's great play by Man United. Oh, and Leicester come to retaliate. They come to retaliate. Daka spins off him. Oh, but that's a good save by Onana. Body. Yoro got body, but Mazraoui got his back. Bruno out to Ugarte on the counter. We have Garnacho there. Garnacho across in for Højlund. Højlund. Oh, and that's a great save by Iverson. Oh, and Daka just runs past him using all that pace. Oh, Nana comes up. That's a great save, but no, it goes back to Mavadidi. We got Garnacho. Garnacho in the gap. Garnacho in the gap. Sees Højlund. Bang. Højlund. Oh, it's just wide. Barely. This close. Boom. Dorgo gets in the box, but gives it up. And Daka capitalizes. Oh my god. Bruno in the midfield bossing it around. Boom. To Garnacho. To Dorgu. He drives down the left. Drives down the left. He hits it back. Oh, but oh, it reaches Garnacho. The comeback is on. The comeback is on. Oh, but Daka, he can end it. And he scores. That's a Daka hat trick. I don't know. Will Man United stay alive in the FA Cup? Maybe, maybe not. But Daka's ripping apart our defense. He's ripping it apart. And just like that, he scores another one. Life ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's not bunnies and all. Just like that, Daka scores 5. It's an embarrassing loss. As my first game in, this has been a horrible second half. Yes, we scored, but at what cost? Our defense just leaving gaps. Look, Daka's running through and gets shots on goal. And he's putting these kids to school. Offensively, we haven't been bad, but defensively, it's been atrocious. We got Højlund to Garnacho, though. And there's no consolation goals, as just like that, Leicester City will put Man United to sleep. Can Daka get a 6th? He can. Patson Daka gets a 6th. I don't know what I'm seeing. 8-3, Man United Leicester. Daka scores 6.